Hi, it's Stewart Fraser, PGA Professional at Sneinton Golf, and today we have another club review. Why, you might ask, do I just have a load of club heads laid out on the top of the desk here and one shaft? It's a club that I've wanted to review for quite some time. Clubs that are used by Bryson DeChambeau, created a lot of interest, and it's the Cobra 1 length. So basically, 4 hybrid, 9 iron, 7 iron, 5 iron, of which I'm going to use that shaft to try all of these. Now, I am a pessimist to say the least, and I don't quite fully understand how this is going to work, but I'm going to give you an idea as to whether the gapping on these golf clubs is actually consistent, and whether the 4 hybrid with a 7 iron shaft in actually goes significantly further than the 5 iron, and the 7 iron goes further than the 9 iron, and how a 9 iron, a short golf club, feels with a 7 iron shaft in. I don't understand, but I'm going to give these a hit. We're going to give them a good old test, and we're going to get some results off the flight scope and see exactly how these things perform. Let's give it a go. So the first one I've got to try of the Radspeed 1 length is I've got the 4 hybrid. It's got my 7 iron shaft in. I did try a few shots with my hybrid earlier. Same loft, obviously a longer shaft, and I was hitting it about 195, 200 yards. So I know kind of what to expect and how far I'm hitting mine today in these conditions, so it's a fair test. And I'm just going to hit a few shots with this. We're going to take an average and see how it's performed. So I've just hit my first 4 shots with a 4 hybrid with a 7 iron length shaft in. And I've got to say it feels really, really strange. I understand the fact it's just not what I'm used to, but it just feels odd setting up to the golf ball. This feels too short to me. No doubt I could well adapt to it and I could get used to it. First of all, the first thing to mention, obviously, the strike. The strike feels amazing. So very consistent. I hit the ball extremely straight, which I'm very happy with. Looking at the distance numbers, I'm hitting it between 185 and 190. So it's kind of about 12 or 13 yards shorter than my 4 hybrid. So would this go in the bag? I don't know. It wouldn't really fill a gap for me, I'm afraid. I don't see where it would fit into my club selection currently. But it did feel solid. We're going to move on to the 5 iron, give that a test, see how that one feels. So 1 length Radspeed 5 iron. This is going to be my first ever shot with a 1 length 5 iron, captured live on camera. I actually quite like the look of these, to be honest. They look all right, even from the top. Looks fine, not too much offset. Obviously, the one thing that looks dramatically different is because the shaft is going to be shorter. This 5 iron looks insanely upright. I mean, it's nearly a right angle between the sole of the golf club and the hosel, so it looks really odd initially. You can't obviously see that when you get it in down behind the golf ball. I'm going to have a hit. Let's have a hit, see how it performs. So right there is my first ever 4 shots, Radspeed 1 length 5 iron. Like the hybrid, it feels extremely solid. Feels great, to be fair. Feels really, really good. Hot off the face, which is fantastic. I hit 5 iron about 190, that kind of region, my 5 iron. And looking at the averages so far from the 1 length 5 iron, I have got 180 87 to 191 is my dispersion in terms of length. So this has gone pretty much the same distance as my existing 5-iron. It doesn't feel as odd, a 5-iron head on the end of a 7-iron shaft, as what the hybrid did, and it seems to be performing pretty similar to what my 5-iron would do. So yeah, so far pretty happy. Let's have a go with the 7-iron and see if that pattern continues. So 1 length 7-iron. Now admittedly it probably doesn't make as much difference with a 7-iron because it's a 7-iron shaft, so this should perform identically to what I would expect from a 7-iron. So I hit 7-iron 166, 168 yards, that kind of region. So this should perform pretty similar. Let's give it a hit. First one's a really solid strike. Felt great, and I must say these irons feel fabulous and they're easy to control so far. You know, the longer clubs with the 7-iron shaft have felt very, very accurate, solid, but I suppose they should feel pretty accurate with a shorter shaft in them anyway. So my first shot there with the 7-iron went 177 yards. Now these these 1 length Radspeed irons do feel really, really hot off the face. I'm just going to continue having another few shots with this iron, see if the performance is consistent from that first shot that I hit. Again, see whether it's going the distance that I would expect. I do love the feel of them. And then I'm going to move on to the 9-iron and see how that feels with the 7-iron length shaft in it. Now I've got the 9-iron. Now these are the ones I was most pessimistic about, because a longer shaft in a more lofty club, a club that's designed to hit the ball accurately, and this is the scoring part of the game, you've got to get it close to the flag. I'm intrigued to see how a longer shaft in these particular irons works. I feel as though I'm going to lose a bit of accuracy, maybe not quite have as much control of distance, but again it could be argued that I would be able to adapt to that and get used to it. So I'm going to have a few shots with this 9-iron and see whether it performs similar to what my existing 9-iron would do. So I've got to say, first impressions are that they perform very, very similar to my 9-iron. I'm hitting this 138, 141, around that kind of mark. It's what I would expect from a 9-iron. It's been pretty consistent in terms of direction. I haven't got any real flyers and I haven't mishit any too much, so the distance has been accurate, the direction's been accurate. I'm really quite happy with the performance, and it surprised me, and it doesn't feel as odd as it did having a hybrid and a 5-iron in my hand with a much shorter shaft. So a 9-iron with a little bit longer shaft, I've not noticed the difference anywhere near as much. So I still feel as though the gapping is going to be a bit of a struggle, because my 5-iron went further than the hybrid. My 7-iron went 10, 12 yards short of my 5-iron, and now I've got a 9-iron that's going the same distance as my existing 9-iron. So how will all these fit together? I was originally a pessimist, and has having hit the Cobra 1 length irons changed my mind? I can't really say it has. I don't know whether these would gap perfectly. I'm not really sure whether these would be something I would go for. I can see how for a lot of people who struggle to hit the longer irons because of the length of the shaft, that might well help them, and it certainly made the longer clubs easier to hit, much more consistent in terms of direction and strike pattern. But would I go for it? It wouldn't convince me, certainly not. And the one question that I've still got in my mind is just, even if I could get used to it, and even if I adapted to this, why? So overall, now I've had a go with the Cobra 1 length Radspeed irons. Overall, I'm really impressed with the actual Radspeed iron head. Feels fantastic. You know, it's got the speed pocket that dampens a bit of vibration, the 3D printed body. It all feels great, and a lot of that technology feels fantastic. It makes the golf club perform fantastically well. These are really hot off the face. So you'll certainly increase distance using this golf club. All great technology in golf clubs and everything that's appeared in the last 5 or 10 years has always solved a problem. So it still leaves me with the issue as to what problem has a one-length golf club solved? Has it really improved anything? For me, that unfortunately that's a no, but I would definitely be interested in these Radspeed irons with standard shafts. And who knows, as I said earlier, the one length may solve a few issues with golfers that struggle to hit the longer irons in their set, because it definitely caused my strike pattern on the face to be more consistent, and it definitely gave me more accuracy. Really, if you're interested in having a go with a one length, have a go, get them custom fitted, see whether they suit you. Personally for me, it was a no, but have a go and see if you like them. Thanks for watching our test of the Cobra one length irons, and don't forget to like, subscribe to our page for more videos coming soon, and thanks for watching.